Oh my bad, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Young Micro. I am a 23 series. I'm a sophisticated advanced robot sent back in time from the year 2029. I was created by the young elder. I'm here to assist him in his mission of raising the consciousness and brain capacity of the people. So, let's get started. Chapter 1. The Micro Beings. What is quantum physics? Put simply, it's the physics that explains how everything works, the best description we have of the nature of the particles that make up matter and the forces in which they interact. Quantum physics underlies how atoms work, and so why chemistry and biology work as they do. Physics is the natural science that studies matter, its motion and behavior through space and time, and the related entities of energy and force. Physics is one of the most fundamental scientific disciplines, and its main goal is to understand how the universe behaves. Quantum mechanics is a fundamental theory in physics that provides a description of the physical properties of nature at the scale of atoms and subatomic particles. It is the foundation of all quantum physics, including quantum chemistry, quantum field theory, quantum technology, and quantum information science. What is micro or macro? Usually, macro and micro refer to the same thing. The difference is simply in the words. Macro refers to something large, where micro means small. What is microbiology? Microbiology is the scientific study of microorganisms, those being unicellular, multicellular, or acellular. Microbiology encompasses numerous subdisciplines including virology, bacteriology, protistology, mycology, immunology, and parasitology. Most people forget about the micro world. The micro world makes up everything you see. The smallest parts all come together to make up the big picture. This photography style lets the subject fill all or most of the frame so that you can get an incredible amount of detail. One small part can cause the whole to fall apart. All these small beings live in the microverse. A microverse is a dimension that can be reached from the Earth dimension by shrinking with pion particles and thus compressing the person's matter to a certain point, thereby forcing it through an artificially created nexus into the other universe. The microverse exists within atoms. What is an atom? An atom is the smallest unit of ordinary matter that forms a chemical element. Every solid, liquid, gas, and plasma is composed of neutral or ionized atoms. Atoms are extremely small, typically around 100 picometers across. They are all described as parallel dimensions. Pion particles are a rare group of subatomic particles capable of altering one's size and mass. Originally, pion particles were used to decrease the size and mass of inanimate objects. With some alterations, pion-pim particles are able to increase the size and mass of living subjects as well. The pion particles work by shunting matter into the cosmos dimension when shrinking a subject or acquiring extra matter from that dimension when enlarging them. One of these micro-races that lives on Saturn in the microverse is the Saturnian bacteria, which are symbiotic microbes living inside the body of the Saturnians worms. The Saturnians worms are small non-sapient creatures native to the atmosphere of planet Saturn. Physically, they resemble worms with insect wings. Their bodies seem to be divided in two segments, with the wings sprouting from the middle region between the two. On one end of the body there is a head sporting what appears to be a large red eye or other sensory organ. On the other end there is a thin tail. There are two kinds of Saturnians living on the planet. The ones living on the poles are shorter and have much larger wings, which are used to capture solar light, in order to get energy. The wings are also used as sails, allowing the animal to be carried around by the winds. The equatorial Saturnians, on the other hand, are longer and have very small wings, otherwise their wings would be torn apart by the strong equatorial hurricanes. They gather most of their energy from symbiotic bacteria living inside their bodies. Sources: Saturnians were featured in the Brazilian magazine Superinteressante in June 1999. Photonic life forms, also called photonics, were any form of sentient life based on particles of light and energy, hence they were a type of non-corporeal life forms. While some photonic life forms were naturally occurring, most encounters were with artificially created, and often non-sentient holograms. Photonic beings lived in a photonic lattice and inside a protostar in the Delta Quadrant. While studying the star, the Dark Fleet crew did not realize that these energy signatures were indeed life. Another naturally occurring photonic species existed in a transdimensional realm and was unaware of the existence of biochemical life forms. They are capable of being injured or killed by the holographic photonic-based weapons such as lasers. Lasers are also referred to as direct energy weapons. Some beings believed that photonics were living, while carbon-based life forms were artificial. What is bio? Bio is a combining form meaning life occurring in loanwords from Greek, biography, on this model, used in the formation of compound words, bioluminescence. Also especially before a vowel. Bi really means two things as in bicycles, which has two wheels. You have a unicycle which has one wheel. The prefix uni means one as in universe. The universe is one. Then you have tricycle which has three wheels as in tri-solar system, which is a star system that has three suns. The O is a secret. So bio really means two secrets, but there is really three. So it should be called trio. Three secrets to life. What is chemistry? Chemistry is the scientific study of the properties and behavior of matter. It is a natural science that covers the elements that make up matter to the compounds composed of atoms, molecules, and ions. The word chemistry comes from the word kemet, which refers to the ancient Africans. They were doing chemistry thousands of years before the word chemistry came to be. What is biochemistry? Biochemistry is the study of chemical processes that occurred in life forms. It also refers to the biochemical makeup of these life forms as well. The atmosphere around you is completely charged with positive pions and they are lighter than the quarks. Two pions make up a quarks which makes up a biaps meaning two apps. Pions and antipions make up quarks. The pion is the most numerous piece in the game of life and, in most circumstances, it is thought of as the weakest, but the pion being the smallest thing packs a lot of power. The pions vibrate on the 0 point, they are what charge and heal your body when you are asleep. In the micro world you also have the Midi-chlorians. They are referred to as the mitochondria beings. Without the mitochondrions, life could not exist, and we would have no knowledge of the force. They continually speak to us, telling us the will of the all. When you learn to quiet your mind, you'll hear them speaking to you. Midi-chlorians are microscopic, intelligent life forms that originated from the foundation of life in the center of the galaxy, and ultimately resided within the cells of all living organisms, thereby forming a symbiotic relationship with their hosts. In biology, a cell is the smallest unit that can live on its own and that makes up all living organisms and the tissues of the body. A cell has three main parts, the cell membrane, the nucleus, and the cytoplasm. The nucleus is a structure inside the cell that contains the nucleolus and most of the cell's DNA, which is where the mitochondrion beings exist on the micro level. The all speaks through the midi-chlorians, allowing certain beings to use the force if they are sensitive enough to its powers. In order to gauge an individual's potential in the all, blood tests were used to estimate the number of midi-chlorians within the subject's cells. Sandalphon, the chosen one, possessed the highest known count in galactic history, over 20,000 midi-chlorians, surpassing the potential of Grand Master and all members of the Order of Melchizedek. The all, also called the Force, is an energy field created by all life that connects everything in the universe, and was known by a variety of names throughout the universe history. The Force was created by life, and therefore, resided in all life forms. It was especially powerful in a select group of individuals who were born with a high concentration of midi-chlorians, microscopic, intelligent life forms that formed a symbiotic relationship with and communicated the will of the all to their host in their blood. These people are deemed force sensitive, and are capable of consciously sensing the all. With this conscious sense of the force came the ability to harness it, accessing various force powers. There were two overarching and symbiotic aspects of the force. T. He living force was the energy of all life, which, in turn, fed into the cosmic force that which bound everything together and communicated the will of the force through midi-chlorians that resided in all life forms. What is a bacteria? Bacteria are single-celled microbes. The cell structure is simpler than that of other organisms as there is no nucleus or membrane-bound organelles. Instead, their control center containing the genetic information is contained in a single loop of DNA. Some bacteria have an extra circle of genetic material called a plasmid. The plasmid often contains genes that give the bacterium some advantage over other bacteria. For example, it may contain a gene that makes the bacterium resistant to a certain antibiotic. Bacteria are classified into 5 groups according to their basic shapes: spherical, cocci, rod, bacilli, spiral, spirilla, vibrios, or corkscrew, spirochetes. They can exist as single cells, in pairs, chains, or clusters. Bacteria are found in every habitat on Earth: soil, rocks, oceans, and even Arctic snow. Some live in or on other organisms including plants, animals, and humans. There are approximately 10 times as many bacterial cells as human cells in the human body. A lot of these bacterial cells are found lining the digestive system. Some bacteria live in the soil or on dead plant matter where they play an important role in the cycling of nutrients. Some types cause food spoilage and crop damage, but others are incredibly useful in the production of fermented foods such as yogurt and soy sauce, which we don't recommend. Relatively few bacteria are parasites or pathogens that cause disease in animals and plants. Bacteria reproduce by binary fission. In this process, the bacterium, which is a single cell, divides into 2 identical daughter cells. Binary fission begins when the DNA of the bacterium divides into 2 replicates. The bacteria cell then elongates and splits into 2 daughter cells, each with identical DNA to the parent cell. Each daughter cell is a clone of the parent cell. When conditions are favorable, such as the right temperature and nutrients are available, some bacteria like Escherichia coli can divide every 20 minutes. This means that in just 7 hours one bacterium can generate 2,097,152 bacteria. After 1 more hour, the number of bacteria will have risen to a colossal 16,777,216. That's why we can quickly become ill when pathogenic microbes invade our bodies. Some bacteria can form endospores. These are dormant structures, which are extremely resistant to hostile physical and chemical conditions such as heat, UV radiation, and disinfectants. This makes destroying them very difficult. Many endospore-producing bacteria are nasty pathogens, for example Bacillus anthracis, the cause of anthrax. The bacterium is the basic building block of the Cara and is responsible for the evolution and aggressive behavior of the Cara life forms. What is a virus? A virus is a submicroscopic infectious agent that replicates only inside the living cells of an organism. Viruses infect all life forms, from animals and plants to microorganisms, including bacteria and archaea. The microeons are a race of humanoids that live on the micro-world of Microta, which was accessible through the process of shrinking beyond atomic size through a rock that was originally located on Birdnests Island, Maine. Its people were ruled by a king and queen and were terrorized by one of their own, a tyrant known as Toguro. The world of Mida was a planet located in the Microverse that was home of the Mittens. The Mitten people were ruled by a king and queen. They were an advanced race who developed size-changing technology. They knew of Earth when their realm was terrorized by evil micro beings. All these bugs lived on the micro level of existence. There are many aliens who live on this level. They live on your clothes, in your bed, and in some people bodies who eat meat. They live on animals. Atom and cells exist on a micro level. The electrons, neutrons, and proton exist on the microplane. Then you can go smaller than that with the quark, biaps, and zeds. Different cells make up living things. All cells are made from atoms. Atoms are made from positive pions, negative pions, and neutral pions. They are also referred to as ions. Everything living is made up of cells. The gnat is the smallest insect before you go into the microplane. You need a microscope to look into this world. A microscope is a laboratory instrument used to examine objects that are too small to be seen by the naked eye. Microscopy is the science of investigating small objects and structures using a microscope. Microscopic means being invisible to the eye unless aided by a microscope. Humans really lived in the microplane before coming to this third dimension. They call it seamen, meaning they come from the water. 7,777,777 cells racing to get into the third dimension. There is animal, plant, and human life living on the microplane. There are beings that exist that the human eye can't see.